Hey guys, Jessica Willis here. Today is February 1st and day one of our 28-day posting challenge. I'm so excited to kind of dive in and share the knowledge that I've acquired over the last few years of doing insurance and just share some of this information to empower you guys when looking at your insurance policies to make sure that you're choosing the right one. So we're going to start with a smaller series, first diving into prescription medication. And why prescription medication? Well, the average American is on 4 different types of prescriptions. So we are going to dive in deep to understand the prescription. So it's going to empower you guys to look at your policy, make sure that you're choosing the right policy. I like to say to all of my clients as we start to look and shop for options is there's so many available policies out there in your areas. I mean, 30 plus different plans are going to be available on the public market, private. It's not about finding the right one that fits all. It's about finding the one plan that fits you based off of your needs. So, big question here is, are you paying too much for your medication? You you possibly could be paying way too much for your medication. And here's how we are going to check. So, day one, we are talking about the difference between prescription medication on brand name and generic medication. What's the difference between generic and a brand name medication? Brand name drugs are the original version of the medication. Developed and marketed by the pharmaceutical companies, they often have higher prices because of the research, development, and marketing costs that go into it. The generic drugs contain the same active ingredients as the brand name version, but are typically much less. Now, you're probably asking, why is generic medication cost a little bit less? Well, because there's a lot of time, research, and energy put into discovering that medication, its effects, and how, as well as the negative side effects of it. And really, since the original manufacturer has conducted all of that research, clinical trials, steps, that's why you tend to see the brand names go up in price versus the generic version. Prime example that I like to use, and I'm sharing or recording my screen, so if you see me doing some stuff down here, that's just because I'm doing that, is going to be like a brand name medication like Lipitor, which is very common used medication for like high cholesterol, blood pressure, and then the generic version of it, which is Vastin, sorry, medications, Astrovastin. So I'm going to show a little bit of my screen recording here just to show you, and I like to use a site called GoodRX. Now there's other sites out there that you can use, GoodRX, RxSaver, WellRx, that allows you to compare the prices not just only for brand name and generic, but also for pharmacies. Here on GoodRx, like I'm showing on my screen, we can switch to the brand name medication, and you can see that huge price difference from just switching from a brand name to generic. And you can do that all through here on the GoodRx. Now, some pharmacies may charge different prices for the same drugs, and using these tools will help find the best deal for you. Of course, make sure your insurance policy is accepted at that pharmacy, but some medications don't have a generic version of it, then you're only going for the brand name. You know, it's going to be important that you find the right pharmacy to fill that medication, or you have a set copay for that medication built into your policy. In case, you can always ask your doctor if there is a similar generic version of that medication that may work better for you, or even when he is writing the prescription, he could write on there, you know, substitute for generic version if available, to also save you some cost there. But looking at my screen once more, you're going to see a summary of benefits that I have pulled up, and you can see here that it has 5 different tiers for medication. Tier 1, Tier 2, which is a preferred generic, Tier 3, Tier 4, and Tier 5. Now, on this particular summary of benefits, your Tier 1, Tier 2 generic medicine is at no charge, but for preferred brand name medications, this policy has a set copay at $15. So if there is not a generic version of a brand name prescription medication that you are prescribed, make sure in your policy that you're checking out Tier 3 medications and that there is a set copay on there for you. But that is it for today. We have summed up the difference between a generic medication and a brand name medication and given you some tools and resources to use to start looking at your policy and also comparing the costs through the GoodRX tool source. Now, there's more information to come, but like I said, microdoses of information, slowly going to break down the summary of benefits and empower you guys to understand your policy, what's available to you out there, and then how you can also ask your doctor to write a generic version versus a brand name medication if available to save you some money. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you tomorrow. Don't forget to subscribe or follow along. So excited that you guys have it. And if you have any questions, please feel free to leave the comments and I will be available to answer them. And again, if you want some one-on-one time, you can book at willis.care. Y'all have a great day. See you tomorrow.